Asbestos is a mineral. It has many uses. It is also infamous as a leading cause of cancer. Because of that, its use is now severely restricted around the world. More than 500 kilometers of the water distribution system in Regina, Saskatchewan is asbestos cement water pipes. Winnipeg has 600 kilometers, Edmonton 1,000, and these are just a tiny portion of the Canadian towns and cities with asbestos cement water pipes. A bit of background. Asbestos cement pipes are around the world. Studies show that close to 20% of the water pipes in North America are asbestos cement. They are referred to as AC pipes or transite pipes, and they contain up to 20% asbestos. A federal government agency, the National Research Council Canada, or NRC for short, has produced volumes of reports on deteriorating asbestos cement water pipes in Canada. It has come to the conclusion that the pipes, which were first introduced in Canada in the 1940s, have reached the end of their life, are crumbling and breaking in record numbers. The asbestos is entering the water, causing, quote, a health concern. The federal agency does not elaborate on exactly what that health concern is. The debate revolves around the inhalation of asbestos versus the ingestion of asbestos. Everyone knows that breathing asbestos causes cancer. The World Health Organization says there is no consistent, convincing evidence that ingesting or drinking asbestos is hazardous. This exact language has been adopted by Health Canada. Health Canada also says that Canadians are unlikely to be exposed to high concentrations of asbestos in water. Please keep in mind that in several reports, another federal agency, the NRC, says drinking asbestos in water is, quote, a health concern. The NRC also raises the alarm over breathing the vapors from showers and humidifiers when asbestos is in the water. As previously mentioned, we are all well aware of the dangers of breathing asbestos. But let's stick to drinking asbestos. For decades, the United States of America has regulated asbestos in water because it maintains it can cause, quote, lung disease and cancer. That's odd because Health Canada says there is no convincing evidence that asbestos in water is hazardous. Perhaps we hearty Canadians are immune to lung disease and cancer. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has set a maximum contaminant level for asbestos in water of 7 million fibers per liter. Beyond that, it takes action to prevent what it refers to as a serious health risk. In a 1977 study, Health Canada found that hundreds of thousands of Canadians were exposed to levels far greater than that. In some instances, Canadians were drinking 10 million fibers of asbestos per liter of water, and in other cases, 100 million fibers per liter. Remember that Health Canada says that Canadians are unlikely to be exposed to high concentrations of asbestos. Well, folks, those are high concentrations, very high, and that was more than 40 years ago. Think how much more asbestos is in the water from those crumbling pipes today. The history of why the U.S. regulated asbestos in water goes back to the 1970s and a case involving a mining company dumping asbestos tailings into Lake Superior. The case went to court, and doctors testified way back then that ingesting or drinking asbestos was every bit as deadly as breathing the stuff. It can have a latency period of up to 40 years. Numerous studies followed, and regulations on asbestos in water were introduced in the U.S. How can Health Canada continue to maintain that there is no evidence that drinking asbestos in water is hazardous? It is just common sense that if drinking asbestos in America can cause lung disease and cancer, that it can have the same deadly consequences in Canada. The problem is worldwide. There is new research coming out on a regular basis on the dangers of drinking asbestos in water. Some countries are taking action. Others are ignoring it and hoping no one will notice and the problem will go away. It won't. The older the pipes get, the worse the problem will get. Canada needs to regulate asbestos in water, as is done in the United States. Get educated. A good place to start? Twitter feed, Asbestos in Water, or Instagram site, REGASBH2O, short for Regulate Asbestos in Water. And by all means, do your own research. Find out from your municipality whether the pipes bringing water to your home are made of asbestos cement. and demand that federal Canadian politicians take action.